that as a human rights lawyer who's worked for 25 years in human rights, has been deemed an enemy of the state in the United States. That's me. My name is Stephen Donziger. I'm an advocate and a lawyer for indigenous rights, human rights, and corporate accountability. The environmental case against Chevron was brought by indigenous peoples in Ecuador and farmer communities. They fought for years and years, an 8-year trial. They won the case. They got a $9.5 billion judgment. They won the case. Chevron tries to act like Chevron won the case. In reality, Chevron lost the case. So once the people of Ecuador won, Chevron refused to pay. So now they're in Canada pursuing Chevron's assets to force Chevron to comply with the Ecuador judgment. Well, the fact the case has lasted 25 years is an outrage. It's a terrible reflection on the court system. There's been over 150 judges in Ecuador, in Canada, and in the United States who have overseen some aspect of this case without there being a final decision. That's a total insult to the indigenous people of Ecuador. Can you imagine if a regular company like Microsoft or Samsung had a case? Would it take 25 years? No, it would be resolved. So Chevron is abusing the process because they've determined it's cheaper to pay millions and millions of dollars to lawyers to delay the case than to pay the people they harmed for a cleanup. Chevron, lost the case in Ecuador. So rather than actually deal with the appeal, they attacked the case by going to a secret international arbitration process where they sued Ecuador's government. And their goal was to get Ecuador's government to sell out their own citizens and destroy their case that they had won. But what Chevron was asking is totally illegal. They're basically trying to get the government, the executive branch, to violate the independent judiciary and kill off a civil legal case. It's outrageous. I mean, no country would do that. But when it comes to Ecuador, Chevron seems to think that Ecuador should basically succumb to what Chevron wants and surrender to Chevron. And Ecuador won't surrender to Chevron, which is why Chevron keeps attacking. My work for the communities, the affected communities in Ecuador, has led to massive retaliation against me. Chevron has spent $2 billion to hire 60 law firms, use 2,000 lawyers to attack me and to attack the Ecuadorians who brought the case. It's an outrageous violation of the rule of law, not only what they did to pollute, but now what they're doing to cover up their pollution by attacking the lawyers and advocates. And they suspended my law license after designating me as an immediate threat to the public order in the United States. Well, one of the reasons Chevron's fighting so hard is because they know if the indigenous people of Ecuador get a monetary recovery, they've already won the case. If they actually get the money, it will inspire people all over the world who are victimized by this company and by other oil and mining companies who suffer the effects of pollution, who don't have money to hire lawyers. It will encourage them to use the same model we did to get a recovery. I think Chevron has over $1 trillion, that is 1,000 billions of dollars out there in liability and obligations that they owe people around the world if they can get the money to bring lawsuits. So Chevron is fighting really hard to kill off not only this lawsuit, but the idea behind the lawsuit. They don't want anyone else doing this kind of lawsuit.
La lucha sigue, la lucha sigue, y sigue la lucha.